Imagine a situation when there's this girl, and she's super pretty, and you have a crush on her, and you just don't know what to say. So your friend talks to you, and your friend's like, why don't you just ask her out? And she's like, your friend's like, the worst case scenario is the answer is no. She's going to say no. But you know that's not the case. You know the worst case scenario is they're going to post on social media, they're going to make fun of you, and you're going to be the laughing stock of the school. So because of that fear deep down, you don't take a chance, and you don't get the girl. The reason I'm giving this is because in my life I found that there is WTF moments, and that's willingness to fail moments. And if you put yourself in situations where you're willing to fail, you can definitely grow as an individual. In my experience, I have grown with confidence, I've grown with being at peace with myself, and I have grown with being happy because of this. And I'm going to give you 3 situations in which I've grown. So the first one was at State Farm. I am Jake from State Farm. And when I got my insurance license, I was so excited. I was so happy. You know, I was finally able to be a mature adult who has an insurance license and sells insurance. Until I realized what my job was. I was calling random people and trying to sell them insurance. And apparently people don't like it when you call them because they signed up for an insurance quote 4 years ago. So what I found out is the more that I did it, eventually I was confident with the way that I acted. Originally, I was very insecure, there's butterflies in my stomach, I was fearful, but as I did it, I actually became more comfortable. And the more comfortable that I got, the more confident I got, and that allowed me to realize that I can conquer my initial fears with something as long as I expose myself to the fear. The second most important thing was when I went to Costa Rica. I went to Costa Rica on a mission trip, and there was a situation where my group mates and I, they were all between the ages of 30 and 50, and we were in a room. And the room, we were talking with each other, and our group leader said, someone has to give a preach. A preach is a 5 to 10 minute sermon to the local Costa Rican community. Now it's translated into Spanish, and it can be very intimidating. So I didn't know that I wanted to do it, but nobody volunteered to do it. I was like, if I count to 10 and nobody chooses to do it, I'm going to do it. So I count to 10, look around, nobody chooses to do it, I volunteer for it. I was actually the youngest person to do it at the age of 18. The next was the age of 30. I was the lowest person before me. So I studied really hard, I figured out exactly what I was going to say, and I did it. And I knew I was doing well because there was a lot of amens, there was a lot of nodding, clapping, raising their hands. I was like, yeah, I got this, I'm in it. And but just the feeling of peace that I had afterwards, of knowing that I was doing something that I didn't think was possible, it just really allowed me to feel at peace with myself. And the last example was tennis. So I went to GCSU in 2018, and I didn't ever play tennis before. I couldn't hit the ball over the net, I hit the ball into the fence. I was just so bad I couldn't even serve. So I show up, and all of these people are just fantastic at it. And they're serious, and they're not goofing around. And I just feel like an idiot. Like, I can't hit the ball over the net, and these people are just serving it at like 70 miles an hour. So what I figured out was, this is not for me, I just want to quit, I want to go home. So then the first practice ended, and I went home. And I actually Googled how to hit a tennis ball, how to serve, and then I went to the tennis court for about 2 to 3 hours for the next 4 or 5 days. The next time we met, I was about 4 or 5 times better than I was. I could hit it over the net, and everybody's jaw was just dropped. They were surprised that someone that was just so bad the week before was actually better. And I just learned that if I really try really hard, and I put my effort, and I put my soul into something, that it can just allow me to feel the most happy that I've ever felt. So the most important thing the most important thing that I learned is that if you put yourself in a position where you are willing to fail, you'll experience confidence, peace, and happiness. Thank you.
Go ahead and take about 30 seconds to fill out your evaluation for Jake's speech. It'll be right there on the top of your perforated skinny sheet of paper. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, Casper. Just because you don't. My voice is so
Once you've filled out your evaluation, pass them down to the middle and put them in the bucket, please. What we get?
Do I get snaps?
You didn't announce it.
Oh no.
It's okay. You can tell her she's announced it now.
Can I make a quick announcement? Okay, I forgot to mention this as grammarian, but if you use the word of the day in your speech, you get snaps.
Send me bonus points.
Yes.
Has everyone passed their sheet down to the middle? Excellent. Who collects those? Is that my job? No, that's your job. Okay, excellent.
Loud. I didn't know how to snap until 2 years ago. I thought it was easy.
Alright, so next up we have Elizabeth Ortega. Her speech is entitled My Identity Crisis. Welcome, Elizabeth.
Okay, well, hello everyone. My name is Elizabeth Ortega, and I will be talking about my identity crisis. So here we go. Okay, so before I begin, I'm going to talk about 3 things that contribute to my identity crisis. And one of them is the hyphen. And I don't have enough, but cool. Thanks. So, by the hyphen, I mean I am Mexican American. So, I looked up the definition, and I know I am Mexican American because I'm not just Mexican, because the dictionary says I'm not. So, I am an American born, and yes, that's me, of full Mexican descent. Both my parents were born and raised in Mexico before they immigrated to the United States. So, I say that hyphen contributes to my identity crisis because whenever I'm going to fill out a paper and I have to say what my background is, sometimes, usually, Mexican American is not an option. So I usually put other, if it's there, and if it's not. I remember one time in high school, one of my teachers said, well, you can just put like you're white. And I'm like, well, I'm not. I was like, well, that's the closest thing to you. And I was like, okay, cool. So I did. But yeah, that is not cool. Anyways, secondly, another thing that contributes to my crisis is the fact that I speak Spanish and English. Growing up, well, Spanish was my first language. Español, I should say. So I didn't learn English until I was like 5 or 6 in elementary school. And I struggled a lot because I started school and I couldn't make any friends because everyone in my class only spoke English. And it was hard for me. But I mean, I made it through. So basically, what my day looked like in elementary school was that for like 75% of my day, I was with a teacher named Mr. Walsmer. And basically what we did was just learn the ABCs, numbers, and just make up short sentences. I started from scratch. And I would get in trouble if I spoke to him in Spanish. So the more English I learned or whatever, when I would go home, I would try to speak English to my siblings or my parents, and I'd get in trouble because my parents didn't know what I was saying. So in school, I get in trouble for speaking Spanish, and at home, I'd get in trouble for speaking English. So it was hard to find a balance. But then, towards like the end of middle school and like high school, and especially now, I found out this great thing called Spanish. So it's amazing because I use a mixture of Spanish and English, and it comes super beneficial when I'm interacting with other Latinos and there's someone I don't like and they don't necessarily know Spanish. I can talk to them about it. Not saying that I do. Just kidding. But yes. So finally, one of the other things that contribute to this identity crisis is just the fact that I have to find a balance between both cultures. So I ask myself, am I American enough to celebrate the 4th of July? Or Mexican enough to celebrate Mexico's independence on September 16th? And not to make the mistake that Cinco de Mayo is not Mexico's independence as most Americans think. Or can I have fast food all the time as an American? Or is it healthy enough to have my mom's traditional Mexican tacos, which tacos asada are so good? Or is it okay to force my mom to make turkey on Thanksgiving and mashed potato rather than her tamales or pozole? No, it's not, but it's okay. Or is it okay for me to invite my American friend over for dinner when I know my mom's gonna have a traditional Mexican dish on the table, which it might be spicy, which won't be good for my American friend, or me, because I don't eat spicy. Or for Christmas, am I supposed to ask Santa for a gift, or Los Tres Reyes Magos, and wait until January 6th? Or can I buy a $4 to $5 Starbucks coffee, or can I just have a chocolate de la abuelita with bolillo that my mom will prepare at home? In college, is it okay for me to ask my parents that I want to go to college and that I want access to my college savings account, which they didn't even know existed? But thankfully, there's scholarships and hope, and not just the scholarships, it's just true hope. So this, as scattered and crazy as it looks, really identifies myself. I am a mixture of both American culture and Mexican culture. So throughout my life, I struggled to find myself, to define whether I wanted to just be American or Mexican, when in reality, there's a safe balance that I can just show myself out to the world. That's why I decided that my heritage is my country. I don't have to just be one or the other. I can be both. Thank you.
All right, go ahead and take those ballots and fill them in for Elizabeth and pass them down to the middle.
Oh, right. Yeah.
If I hit display, will it stop displaying? Yes. I did.
Tyler, you don't need a projector, right? Okay. You can just leave this one up here.
All right, has everyone finished filling out their evaluations and passed them down to the middle? Yes, no, maybe so. Not certain. No eye contact from anybody. All right, we're good. Okay, guys, our next speech will be by Tyler Burnette, and his speech is entitled Life with Martial Arts. How martial arts can not only be a viable self-defense tool, but also how it has the ability to make you and the world around you a better place. Let's welcome Tyler.
Good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon.
Thank you. Let's try that one more time. Good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon.
Thank you. Confidence, right? Get out there. Go for it. That's what fighting's about, right? A little bit of that. Now, who here has watched UFC or knows about UFC? Okay, we got a few fight fans here. That's cool. Martial arts has been around for thousands of years. It actually predates the Egyptian time period. And there's a lot of things being said about martial arts, a lot of people getting into martial arts now, and it's become a much bigger thing. Some say it's barbaric, it's just this thing, two dudes, two jocks going at it, you know, trying to strut their stuff and see who's the best, right? See who can beat up everybody else. To me, it's different. It's about the interchange more than it is the outer change. And it is my view, my vision, that everybody should participate in martial arts to some degree. Maybe not train every week, but at some point, at least step in a dojo or step in a gym and see what it's about. Because it changed my life, for sure. I've only been doing it for 2 years. I do Muay Thai and Jiu-Jitsu, and I compete in Jiu-Jitsu. And I've won medals in Jiu-Jitsu, so you know what I'm saying isn't just BS when I'm standing up here. But I think the world would be a better place with more martial arts. Here's why. The skills you learn. Your kicks, your punches, your takedowns, your grappling, submissions, whatever martial arts you do, whether it be Taekwondo, Karate, Aikido, Jiu-Jitsu, Muay Thai, and various other Judo. Judo's another one. You learn skills, and you learn to control your body in ways that you never knew you could before. And it's pretty amazing. But what's more important is the stuff that changes in here. You learn discipline. There is no way I could have medaled in any of my tournaments had I skipped practice, had I gotten really drunk the night before and showed up and just had really crappy practice or really crappy tournament. You have to stay disciplined, just like doing homework. You have to do it. You have to do it over and over and over again for it to work. And that is a vital attribute that you can use in the real world. Control. Control of your emotions. That's a huge one. You ever seen your boss go off on an associate for doing something really small? And it's probably because something at home probably isn't working the way they want it to. See, it's control of your emotions. Being able to control your emotions in really bad spots. And control of your body. Being able to just move in the way that your brain is telling your body and wanting your body to move in. Those two are key. I can tell you from doing martial arts, I've been able to, I guess you could say, center my chi. I guess would be the funny way to say it when times are chaotic. Respect. Respect your opposition. To me, martial arts, when I go into Muay Thai and Jiu-Jitsu, it doesn't matter what the guy looks like, it doesn't matter his physical attributes, there is a mutual level of respect. Because you learn very quickly in Jiu-Jitsu, and in martial arts in general, that the most nerdy looking guy in the room can beat the ever-living snot out of you. The most unathletic guy, the whatever guy, it's all a level playing field. And your self-respect. It's very esteemable. Being able to do these things, being able to physically control another person, it's not easy. It's very hard to learn how to do that. And it takes lots and lots of practice. The courage. To control your fear. Not to not have fear. Fear is important. Fear is a motivator. But to control it. I never fear my opponent, per se, in the sense that I let my fear control me. But I respect his abilities, always. Doesn't matter who he is. Because when you don't respect the fear or your emotions or respect your other opponent is when you let things get out of hand. And self-defense. Who in here has ever been somewhere where they feel like they're not quite safe? Maybe not that, they're going to get mugged, but it's like, well, if I knew how to handle myself a little bit, I might feel a little better. Maybe enjoy this place a little better. Self-defense, it's one less thing to worry about. I know I'm 135 pounds, okay? If a 250-pound dude and he's done a couple boxing classes, he's probably going to be able to knock me out, to be honest. But all that being said, I feel a lot more confident going into, if I had to, an altercation than I would beforehand, for sure. And you'll learn here in a minute, it's a little surprise, but why size doesn't always necessarily matter. So all these things together are why I love Jiu-Jitsu and Muay Thai and martial arts, and why it's made me better as a person, and not just the fact that, yeah, sure, I've beat up on a couple of guys. I've gotten beat up more than I have beat up somebody else, but it's who it makes you. And I feel like martial arts doesn't necessarily make a good person, but it makes a better you. And so that's why I want all of you to at least try martial arts once. Now, before we end, I'm going to ask Zach to come up here. We're going to do a little bit of a demonstration. A little martial arts. Prepared to say a lot. Okay, so we're at a party, and also this ends my speech part. So, and so we're at a party, right? And Zach, you know, he's a good friend, but he's gotten a little too drunk, and he's hitting on my girl, right? And that's just not cool. That's not cool at all, man. And then he gets mad at me for confronting him and say, he take your hand and grab my collar. So, you know, he's like, hey, man, you know, push me up against the wall. I'm sure you've seen this episode, right? So what I'm going to do is take your hand right here, just the inner part right here, and it's actually very, very hard to not break, for him to hold this when I push up like that. And you can even push down like that. Now that I have his wrist, I have control of his wrist. And in jiu-jitsu, that's important, right? So once I pop it off the collar, I can actually bring him down, right? And use my shoulder to actually bully him all the way to the ground if I wanted to, right?
If you wanted to.
If I wanted to. Okay, so say, well, this is a situation where we're just going to get in a fight, right? And the dude's already ready to fight. He's bladed. He's ready to fight and everything, right? So that's where, like, okay, well, maybe he's not giving me his wrist. So it's only your wrist. Yeah, maybe he's not letting me get that. Okay, so this is where striking comes in. All right. So a lot of people, they stand straight up like this, right? So push me, right? No, push me hard. Push me hard. There you go. There you go. So in Muay Thai, they teach you to actually center your body, right? And like center your weight so it sits all in your base. And so you roll your shoulders forward, come back. So now push me. Push me. Push me. It's a lot harder. It's a lot harder. And it's all just body manipulation, which is what I find fascinating. So we're here, right? And we're striking, and say we getting close, okay? And this is called the clinch, right? I'm sure you've seen in UFC, the clinch, and say, I got this one hand, I get this one hand on, right? You got over here, right. And footwork is important in Muay Thai, especially in the clinch. And so you don't want to be hit out. That's bad for you. See what I'm saying? So you want to be kind of like this, right? But a lot of people they don't really know, like what is right, what is wrong. But if I step out here, right, I pop this up, really easy. It's really easy to pop the shoulder up, and then all I have to do, and he's done. He's out. And then I run away. That's another thing. In martial arts, self-defense is not, the object is not to dominate whoever's trying to hurt you, it's to get away. It is never, if you get in a fight, like me and all my buddies, if somebody at a bar is saying, hey, well, you're a fighter, let's fight, and nah, man, you're the champ. You're the champ, walk away, Never like go into an altercation expecting that. You want to always get away. So now that we're there, so say he's let me, he doesn't know I do Muay Thai, right? So I'm gonna kind of bully him a little bit, and now I'm in dominant clinch, right? Right here, so try to stand straight up. Move your head up, like you don't want that, right? So he's a strong dude, but it doesn't matter. And once I get his head here, boom, right there, knocked out.
Oof.
Can you actually do that move? I just want to make sure I'm getting the whole thing right.
I need to get where I'm safe.
So there's various like methods, and this is all like day one stuff. Okay, this is not anything you take years to learn. It's all day one clinch, day one jiu-jitsu. I could go all day, but I'll give you one more scenario, and then I'll get the floor up because I know we have a meeting to do. So say, you're walking in the street, some dude hit you in the back of the head and knocks you to the ground, right? So he's knocking you to the ground, and this is where jiu-jitsu becomes applicable, because now he's standing up and I'm on the ground. And remember, I want to get away. I don't want to try to fight this dude, but I want to get away to safety. So he's going to come in and try to, hit me. So what you want to do is you want to control So come on in. Come on in. You want to
He's
control?
enough
You want to control the space? You basically don't want to let him get within arm's reach, right? So then if he gets right about here, which is when you come here, and come in. Right?
Okay.
And I control him, right?
Yeah.
Get underneath. Get underneath. So we're here, right? And you want to bring the head down, and you basically want to control the space, right? So now you're here. It's like, okay, I need to get away. So what you're going to do is you put your foot on his knee, and you're going to, you're going to get your knee in and flip him over, and then you're out. It's a lot better when you're going with somebody that does jiu-jitsu, but that's the basic premise. But you can, within like 6 months of doing jiu-jitsu, you can do all this stuff. So thanks, guys.
Delete that footage.
Whoa, this might be our first viral video.
All right, guys, go and
Toastmaster
take
gone
30
wrong.
seconds, fill out your evaluation.